Good afternoon, everybody. Anthony Aniano here from RotoBaller Radio and rotoballer.com with the Week 15 Fantasy Baseball Waiver Wire. Pitchers available on the waiver wire for the week beginning Monday, July 3rd. As always, everybody, recording this on a Thursday, June 29th, so numbers can change, promotions, demotions, whatever it may be, can change between now and when that waiver wire, your fab bids run. Stats can change, numbers can change, whatever it may be. We use Yahoo roster percentages as our talking point, trying to keep it to players 50% or less rostered on the yahoo.com platform. So we have some players in the 30s or so today, and then some players a little less rostered, depending upon the size of your league. Don't forget, go to rotoballer.com, sign up now for the Premium Pass, whether it's baseball for the second half of the season, or as you prepare for your fantasy football draft, sign up for the NFL Premium Pass right now. Use the promotional code ACES. Take advantage of all the great tools, including the lineup optimizer and the draft team sync tool. So make sure you take advantage of that great content over at rotoballer.com. Use the promo code, like I said, ACES, and save at checkout. Like and subscribe right here to the RotoBaller YouTube channel. Download the RotoBaller app. It's free, so take advantage of that. And give me a follow on Twitter at Aniano Fantasy. All right, so let's get into it today. We have 5 starting pitchers, 1 reliever to be mindful of as we enter July, the week beginning July 3rd. And my number one ad, it's obvious. I think I've talked about him in the past. We talked about him on Sears XM. We really should have Ric Flair here introducing him. But Bryan Woo of the Seattle Mariners has been flat out terrific and is still grossly under-rostered at only 30%. Over the last 2 weeks, 16 innings pitched, 21 strikeouts, 11.8 Ks per 9 innings with an ERA of 1.69 and a whip of 0.94. Now his ERA on the season is 4.34. Again, it's because his first start was like 2 1/3 innings and he got lit up. Ever since then he's been fantastic. So I ignore that ERA of 4.34, especially when his season-long xFIP sits at 3.07 and his expected ERA is at 2.45. He's pitched significantly better than that 4.37 indicates. He's got 32 strikeouts on the year in 22 2/3 innings, 12.7 Ks per 9 innings. Whip sits at 1.24, and batting average against is 244. He's got 1 win on the season, and even more exciting, he is a 2-start pitcher as of right now coming into next week. Monday, July 3rd, he's slated to start against the San Francisco Giants. And if he keeps that track, it would be Saturday, July 8th against the Houston Astros. So Bryan Woo, with 2 starts next week, pitching well and available in 70% of Yahoo leagues, makes him my premium ad on the hill for any pitcher this week. At number 2, Los Angeles Angels starter Griffin Canning is only 34% rostered, making him available in 66% of leagues. Over the last 2 weeks, 12 strikeouts in 12 innings pitched, strikeout per, that's just 9 strikeouts per 9. An ERA of 1.50 and a whip, that's exceptional, of 0.75. 1 win over those last 2 starts, over the last 14 days. Even better, and I know we don't chase him, but it's always nice to get those wins. Griffin Canning with 6 wins on the season. 62 strikeouts in 65 1/3 innings. It's about 8.54 Ks per 9. Now, what's interesting about Canning is the first time I've seen this. His ERA is 3.99. His xFIP is 3.99. And his expected ERA is an even 4.00. He's exactly where you thought he would be. All the sabermetrics all line up when it comes to Griffin Canning. I love what he's done with his walk rate this year. 2.34 walks per 9 innings this year, down from over 4 walks per 9 innings just last season. Now, the upcoming schedule is a little iffy. Okay, he actually starts tomorrow. I'm recording again, remember, on Thursday the 29th. He starts Friday the 30th against the first-place Arizona Diamondbacks. See how that start goes. If he rolls out another good start, you're going to have to pony up a little more fab to get Canning on your roster. Whether you want to play him or not is another conversation, too, because his next start after this, Friday, July 7th, against Los Angeles Dodgers. Now, if you asked me, you hit me up on Twitter and said, Anthony, are you starting Griffin Canning against the Dodgers? Odds are I am. I will. Angels playing good ball. Bullpen has been strong. 6 solid innings out of Canning is totally possible on July 7th against the Dodgers. Okay, number 30 starter, returning from injury, Kenta Maeda of the Minnesota Twins. I mentioned him very briefly last week. Okay, so if you jumped on it, good for you. Because since he's returned from injury, he's pitched 10 innings, an ERA of 1.80, 12 strikeouts in those 10 innings since his return, 10.8 Ks per 9 innings. He's even given you a win in those 2 starts since his return from injury. Now, on the season, 26 strikeouts and 26 innings pitched. Walk rate of 2.42 walks per 9 innings. Now, the ERA, you're saying, Anthony, the ERA is 6.23, but the xFIP is at 4.28, and the expected ERA is at 3.95. He's pitched much better than that 6.23 actually indicates. Gatto has 1 win on the season, and part of the reason I have him so high this week, he's my number 3 ad, is because of that next start, which is on July 4th, against the Kansas City Royals. Another matchup, right? Pick on the Tigers, pick on the Royals, and pick on the Oakland Athletics. Kenta Maeda, nice start July 4th against the Kansas City Royals. At number 4, Oakland A's started J.P. Sears. Okay, 16% rostered, so a little more available than the Maedas, Cannings, and Brian Wu, who are all in the 30% roster range. J.P. Sears only 16% rostered. Problem with any Oakland A's starter, you're not going to get money wins. He's got 1 on the season. You'll be lucky if he finishes with 5. Okay, over the last 2 weeks, 3 starts, 18 innings pitched, 20 strikeouts, basically 10 Ks per 9 innings. That's the strength of J.P. Sears. Now, you're saying to yourself, Anthony, but as you're talking, I'm looking this up. Over those last 3 starts, he's got an ERA of 5.5. Okay, but here's what's interesting. He's got an ERA of 5.5 over those last 3 starts, but a whip of 0.94. He got lit up against the Yankees the day Domingo Germán threw the perfect game. He started against that. All right, he went 4 innings. He gave up 5 earned runs. His 2 previous starts, he went 7 strong innings. 1 bad outing against the Yankees and a magical night where Domingo Germán, sells his soul to the baseball gods. So congratulations to Germán. But J.P. Sears has been a strikeout per inning guy, 85 strikeouts and 87 in the 3rd innings, 8.76 to be exact. His ERA on the season is 4.43. His expected ERA is close at 4.78. Doesn't walk many batters. Walk rate is just over 2 per 9 innings. Okay, his whip is exceptional at 1.08. That's going to help. His batting average against is very good at 226. And he's got a great matchup, similar to Kenta Maeda, July 4th, against the Detroit Tigers. Now, that game could go 25 innings with neither team scoring a run. Okay, but J.P. Sears should be able to accumulate some strikeouts. Pitching against Javi Baez, Spencer Torkelson. There's strikeouts to be had against that Detroit Tiger lineup. So J.P. Sears sits as my number 4 pitcher ad, and he's only 16% rostered, making him 84% available. And the number 5 ad, this one was strange. This one came out of nowhere, but it comes out of Atlanta. And when it comes out of Atlanta, I pay attention to it. Kobe Allard of the Atlanta Braves, former Texas Ranger, goes to Atlanta, gets his first start of the season the other day, has 8 strikeouts in 4 2/3. Couldn't close the 5th inning out and pick up the win. But 8 strikeouts in 4 2/3. Does not give up an earned run. Okay, the xFIP after that game was at 1.17, 0.86 is the whip. Now you're saying you're putting Colby Allard on the waiver wire list after 1 start, after 4 2/3 innings with the Braves? My answer is yes, because it's the Braves. The Braves are going to provide him offense. If Colby Allard goes 5 innings, the Braves bullpen is going to provide 4 shutout innings more likely. Dominant bullpen. Okay? Dominant offense. And Colby Allard has 2 starts next week. The first one on July 4th against Cleveland. Sign me up. That Cleveland offense is not strong. And the second one gets a little tricky. But if you want the first one, you got to take the second one. Sunday, July 9th against the Tampa Bay Rays. Now, that's where he's scheduled right now. Things can change, obviously. But you give me an Atlanta Braves starter in a 2-start week, especially if you're chasing wins, right? Colby Allard doesn't have to go 8 innings. He doesn't have to go 9 innings. Go 5 with the lead. And you could potentially pick up a couple of easy, cheap wins from Colby Allard. Maybe he goes 5 innings, 3 runs, does a little damage there to your ERA potentially. But if you get 2 wins out of Colby Allard next week, sign me up. And that's the benefit of an Atlanta Braves pitcher. If you're chasing those wins, you want to chase them with good teams, and that's where Colby Allard comes into play. All right, now my final pitcher ad of the week comes out of the bullpen if you're looking for saves. There's a few guys available, but Hunter Harvey, former Baltimore Oriole, and thought of to be, as when he was with Baltimore, the closer of the future, and then injuries kind of slowed him. He's reemerged with Washington and has kind of taken over that closer role. Over the last week, he has 2 saves for the Washington Nationals. He's only 15% rostered. Over the last 2 weeks, 3 saves, 5 strikeouts, and 6 1/3 innings. On the season now, 39 strikeouts and 35 innings pitched with an ERA of 3.34 and an xFIP of 3.66. He's up to 6 saves on the season. Batting average against for Hunter Harvey is only an even 200, so he's pitched well for the Nationals, starting to slowly assume that closer role for the Nationals the rest of the way, potentially. All right, so my pitcher ads for Week 15, the week beginning Monday, July 3rd. Number 1, 30% rostered, Brian Wu. Number 2, Griffin Canning, 34% rostered. Number 3, Kenta Maeda, Minnesota Twins, 32% rostered. Number 4, JP Sears, Oakland Athletics, 16% rostered. Number 5, Kobe Allard, Atlanta Braves, 5% rostered. And number 6, my reliever to add for the week, Hunter Harvey, Washington Nationals, 15% rostered. All right, don't forget, head over to rotoballer.com, use that promo code ACES. Follow me on Twitter at @Aniano Fantasy, and we will see you next time right here on RotoBaller Radio.